7 long years of Macronism have weakened the country. The unprecedented budgetary situation, verging on bankruptcy, as well as the security and immigration disorder reigning in France, calls the outgoing majority to humility.
The far-right National Rally, under the leadership of 28-year-old Jordan Bardella, is on the cusp of potentially securing an absolute majority in the upcoming French parliamentary elections, according to a series of recent opinion polls. Jordan Bardella's political ascent has been marked by a controversial and aggressive campaigning strategy. Back in 2015, Bardella, then a 20-year-old political novice, campaigned for a place in regional government in the working-class suburbs of northern Paris.
There are red lines that the President of the Republic has crossed, and which I will not cross tomorrow as Prime Minister of a cohabitation. I am opposed, unlike the President of the Republic, to sending troops and sending French soldiers to Ukraine, because I believe that first of all, a majority of French people are opposed to this decision. Ukraine itself, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky hasn't called for the sending of French troops to Ukraine, and that could have dramatic consequences for peace, world peace. I refuse for France to be drawn directly into a conflict with a nuclear power, which could have dramatic consequences for world peace and the stability of the region.
His girlfriend at the time, Kelly Batesh, featured prominently in campaign posters, one of which juxtaposed her image in a patriotic French tricolour beanie against another of her wearing a niqab. The stark message, choose your banlieue, suburb, vote front, National Front, was designed to provoke and underline the National Front's anti-immigration stance. The campaign garnered significant attention and controversy, propelling Bardella into the regional council and Batesh into the spotlight as a far-right pundit. On June 24th, the leader of France's right-wing National Rally Party announced plans to amend the controversial pensions reform from last year if elected as Prime Minister in the upcoming elections. Bardella stated that he would alter the pension laws that President Macron had enforced amid widespread protests, which had raised the retirement age from 62 to 64.
First, I want to clarify our position on the pension reform, which was misrepresented or even caricatured. As I said, my priority is the long careers, and on this point, I want to act quickly. From the autumn, the French people who started working before 20 years old and who will have 40 years of contributions will be able to retire at 60 years old.
In the lead-up to the snap legislative election called by President Emmanuel Macron, the National Rally has surged in opinion polls. A poll by Odoxa published on Friday indicates that the National Rally holds 33% of likely voter support. This places Bardella's party ahead of the left-wing alliance New Popular Front, which stands at 28%, and Macron's movement, which has 19%.
We are ready to exercise power if the French people place their trust in us in these future legislative elections. We're ready to turn the country around, ready to defend the interests of the French, ready to put an end to mass immigration, ready to make the purchasing power of the French a priority. We're ready to start the reindustrialization of the country. In short, we're ready to turn the country around, ready to revive France.
Further bolstering the National Rally's prospects, an Opinionway and Veille Solis poll released on Saturday shows the party at 35%, up by 2 percentage points since June 14th. The New Popular Front increased by 3 points to 28%, while Macron's movement saw a 2-point rise to 22%. Ipsos, in a separate poll published later on Saturday, reported 35.5% support for the National Rally and its allies, compared to 29.5% for the New Popular Front and 19.5% for Macron's group. President Macron's decision to dissolve the National Assembly and call for a snap legislative vote came after his party was significantly defeated in the European Parliament elections earlier this month. The first round of voting is scheduled for June 30th, with a second round on July 7th, should no candidate secure an outright majority in the first round. France's two-round electoral system, which typically pits the two top candidates from the first round against each other in a runoff, adds complexity to predicting the final distribution of parliamentary seats. Odoxa's projections suggest a notable increase in three-candidate runoffs, potentially 120 to 170 such matchups, up from just 8 in the 2022 elections. In total, 577 parliamentary seats are up for grabs, with 289 needed for an absolute majority. According to the Odoxa poll, the National Rally and affiliated candidates could win between 250 and 300 seats in the next parliament, a substantial increase from their current 89 seats.